Okay, hello, I'm Jamie. So I've decided to start reviewing films. The first thing I'm going to review is the Halloween series created by John Carpenter. What I'm only going to talk about is my favorite and least favorite scenes, what I think the movie should be rated, and if they were good or not. Just my opinions, okay? Don't get mad at me if you don't like the reviews. I'm sorry. Feel free to comment and leave ratings. Okay, so the first one is Halloween 1, 1978. It had a budget of less than $500,000. It was pretty good for being low budget. I think probably the best scene in the whole film is when he's walking through the schoolyard and Michael Myers is right on the other side of the chain link fence and is watching him. It gives you a certain feel like, wow, this man is really deranged, stalking a little bitty kid outside the school, you know? And the worst and most, I don't know, just the worst scene was probably when he kills the girl in the car by strangling her. I just didn't think it would really fit in with the, serial killer image of strangling. But all in all, it was an okay film, pretty good for the Halloween series, and it's about a 7. It's about a 7. The second film, Halloween 2, it was just like the first one basically. Used the same director, the same actors. Well, actually, Jamie Lee Curtis cut her hair, and she didn't have enough time to grow it back in time for the movie, so she wore a wig, if you didn't know that already. And, well, it features Michael Myers wandering around town and killing the folks in the hospital that aren't having celebrations for Halloween. And the whole point of the movie is to just see if Michael Myers is still alive or not. And it features Dr. Sam Loomis walking around neighborhoods with the police trying to find him. And the rest takes place in the hospital while he goes on a killing spree of nurses and doctors. It was an okay film. The best part is probably when the guy who looks like Michael Myers in the mask gets hit by the police car and the car explodes. That was probably the best part. And the worst part was probably when they had the guy inside the car with Laurie, and he is so out of it, he just collapses and his head hits the steering wheel and the horn starts honking. So, that's about a 6. Yeah. Then the third film, which didn't even have Michael Myers in it at all, is actually still a pretty good horror movie. Of course, it would have been better with Michael Myers in it, considering it is Halloween. But it was still an okay film. The best part is probably when the very end happens and he's trying to get them to shut off the radio stations or the news channels, and it don't have enough time and it goes off to blank and all the kids and stuff are dying because the masks are taking over their minds and doing whatever. And the worst part was probably when all the bodyguards came out to kill that guy because he was trying to spread the word of the evil from the Shamrock Mask Company. I give it about a 6. And then the fourth film, which is The Return of Michael Myers, because they realized it wasn't very good to make a Halloween film series without the star in it, believe it or not. So, Halloween 4 basically deals with him realizing he has a young niece named Jamie, who is supposedly his sister's Laurie kid, who everybody thinks is dead so far. And it just deals basically with him going around the town of Haddonfield where she lives and killing all her friends and whatever else, and trying to get rid of all the friends of her stepsister because she is the one trying to protect Jamie. And it just basically ends with Jamie touching Michael Myers' hand and trying to kill her stepmother. It's about a 7 or an 8. I'll say about an 8. It's pretty good. Then Halloween 5 just basically takes off from where Halloween 4 left off and follows the same routine. It's about maybe a 6. And then Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. It was alright for an Halloween film, but it could have been better. I think in this film they went into too much detail about Michael Myers and his life and why he kills and whatnot. I mean, he's supposed to be a serial killer with no soul and just really cold. I think you shouldn't really have too many details about it, because like John Carpenter said, they didn't really want to release too much info about Michael Myers in the films, because that would take away somewhat from the mystique of Michael Myers. And if you know too much about him, he don't really seem too scary. But it's still an okay film. It's probably one of the goriest, and it has quite a few body counts in it. The best scene is probably when the little girl is playing under a tree and all the blood starts trickling down the branches, and they look up and see all the bodies dangling in the tree. That was probably the best part. The worst part was probably at the very end, when the main character jumps out of the window and goes unconscious and gets locked inside one of the institution's rooms. That was probably the worst part. It's about a 6 all in all. Then Halloween 7, Halloween H2O, with Jamie Lee Curtis and LL Cool J and some new characters. So, inside this film, it basically just evolves around a high school and all the students in it being very prestigious and prominent, and then going to Yosemite for a field trip. Well, four of the students, the main character, Laurie Strode's son and his friends and girlfriend, decide not to go because they want to make out and do sex and whatever else in the basement of the school. Well, Michael Myers finds out where Jamie is, not Jamie, but Laurie, and he goes there and just starts wiping out the kids who stayed behind to have sex and play dirty games and whatnot. And it basically ends with Jamie Lee Curtis trying to kill him by chopping off his head, which we later find out it wasn't his head, it was somebody else's. The best part was probably the very beginning, when you walk into the house and all the lights are off, and Jamie starts walking in there with a hockey stick and just starts banging up everything because he's afraid of somebody being in there. And then he steals 2 beers and goes home and gets drunk. I don't say you get drunk with 2 beers, but obviously he did, or he wouldn't be dead, because Michael Myers killed him and his friend. And the worst part probably was the very end, when she chopped off his head, because then a lot of folks said, well man, that was a ripoff, now there won't be no more. But that ain't true, there's still more coming out. And it was about an 8, it was probably one of the best ones. Then Halloween 8 itself revolves around her going crazy because she killed some other man besides her brother, and her not wanting to admit the truth that he still might be out there. And it just goes around where Michael comes to the institution and tries to kill his sister, and ends up killing 2 security guards as well. And then this TV crew setting up stage props inside Michael Myers' old house or whatever, so they can get ratings for a new TV show called Dangertainment. And he just basically goes around killing all the people and shooting inside his house. It was okay, but the best scene probably was the very end, where he gets electrocuted and they say, I hope you never rest in peace, Michael, or whatever, and the house catches on fire and burns to the ground. That was probably the best part. But the worst part and dumbest part was actually the very beginning, where after he kills Laurie and the 2 security guards, he walks back down to the basement to give a knife to some just lunatic guy who is incarcerated in there. Like Michael Myers is this cold-hearted killer, but yet he's giving memorabilia to just some guy inside an institution. So it made kind of no sense, you know. And I haven't seen the new Halloween film yet. I haven't seen it. I was going to, but I got a guitar instead. But I'm hoping it will be kind of good. Looks pretty gory, but it's Rob Zombie for you, I guess. Then Halloween 9, the latest one so far, besides the new one coming out. It was pretty good, but it was kind of gory, and Halloween isn't really about gore. And there's too many cuss words in it, and Halloween isn't about anger and cussing and gore. It's about silently stalking and killing people when they're alone. The best scene probably was the very beginning, when it shows him killing the mouse or whatever, the gerbil. Kind of weird, but I like the part. And then the worst part probably was the very end, when Sam Loomis shoots him, because this rendition is kind of horrible about the shooting part. All in all, it's about an 8. Thanks for watching. Please comment and rate and leave comments. Thank you, Jamie Brown.